guys, we got a legend, Bruce Buffer, on the podcast this week. Before we get into it, if you guys have not tried out the PrizePicks app, you gotta try it out. I have tried every app when it comes to firing on sports, and PrizePicks is by far my favorite. The app's so easy to use. You hop on the app, each player has a set projection, and you either go more or less than that set projection. Choose a couple players. The more you choose, the more your pick's gonna multiply. Also, complete game changer on the PrizePicks app. Now you can choose teams. You can choose the spread, you can choose the score of the game. You can also fire on culture picks too. Absolute game changer for the PrizePicks app. They literally have everything. Football's obviously over, but basketball's heating up. Tourney time's right around the corner. We got Olympic hockey on, go Canada. Also, UFC's on this weekend. There's a ton of stuff to fire on. If you guys have never downloaded the app, use code NELK. Use that when you download it, put it in. If you put in just $5, you get $50 for free with your first lineup. Take advantage of code NELK. Download the PrizePicks app, use code NELK. Shout out to PrizePicks app, best app in the game to fire on sports. Let's get into the podcast.
I'm sorry. Kyle.
Salim.
Stein.
I got to write it on 3x5 cards.
Yeah,
guys.
You just say bro if you want to.
Yeah, you don't got to.
I'm respectful.
Yeah, don't worry.
You and I flew back from Abu Dhabi one time. Yeah. You were higher than a kite on that plane.
I was.
What the hell were you high on?
Alcohol. I think you were afraid I had COVID.
Oh, yeah. It was during COVID.
Yeah.
Which I thought was one of the coolest trips ever.
was
I love
sickest
staying
of
at
my
the
life.
W Hotel. That was
It was
awesome.
so much fun.
So much fun.
Yeah.
I get into my room in a suite and there's kettlebells and they know I train and everything. They had all training gear for me. And like, can't leave for 3 days. And remember they were delivering the food in hazmat suits?
In
It
Abu
was
Dhabi?
insane.
Yeah. The first time we went there, I think you went the second. I don't know if you went. No, we had the chartered plane. That was the first trip, I think.
Yeah, we all
It
were on
was
that trip.
Khabib's last fight.
Khabib's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
We went for that one.
It was awesome.
That was the
And,
first
and
one,
that was
right?
our first ever UFC fight?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Which
think that
is
was the first
crazy.
time we were there at Yaz Island.
What was
I
your,
was there for like a week or two. I forget how long it was.
What was your first UFC event?
My 30-year anniversary is February 16th.
Wow.
Baimon, Puerto Rico. UFC 8. I did the
Oh
prelim.
shit!
So 30
Holy
years coming up.
shit.
30 fucking years. Can you believe that?
Wow.
What did you do before?
UFC 8?
8.
Where was
my
that?
first one I attended was UFC 6 because I had my brother Michael. I know you got. Are we on the show?
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
We
Hi,
just go for
everybody.
it. We just go for it.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes.
Yeah, UFC 6 was the first one I attended, and that's the one that they brought out Tank Abbott at, right? And Michael, I had him announce it because when I started managing Michael, I put him in every big event there was, and back then, when the UFC came on the scene, it was like the top 10 grossing pay-per-view. It was just knocking down doors, and then Senator McCain started which, with all respect to Senator McCain, because I have nothing but respect for him, but we were called human cockfighting and got taken off in demand. So we went from being available in like 70 million homes to 16 million homes on DirecTV. But I had Michael announce the 6, 7, and Ultimate. And then we had a big contract with WCW Wrestling. I couldn't have him continue with UFC. And it was such a spectacle back then, right? I knew it was going to be the biggest thing in sports. I knew it because being a martial artist, since I was 12 and all the training and my own form of fighting and everything I've done in my life, I knew it was a home for me. And basically after I had to pull him, I had to convince Robert Meyerowitz, the owner then, I said, you need a buffer in the octagon. I will help you not just be the octagon announcer. I want to grow as that, but I have the media contacts, many of which you don't have because I've been working with my brother for so many years and developing so many contacts in sports and entertainment. I said, I'll do my best to help you build this brand. I don't want a dime for that. Pay me to be the announcer, but let me grow with it because I know this is going to be the biggest thing if you do this right. And my first show was UFC 8. And when I got that, I got a VHS tape. This is back in the VHS tape days in the mail from a guy named Scott Ferrazzo, who is like 6'1", 340 pounds, hands down to his ankles, just the perfect guy for the UFC back then. And I sent the tape off to Robert Meyerowitz, and I said, "Look, would you put him in the show?" But I had a ploy. I didn't want to manage fighters, so I got him on UFC 8. And when I did, I called up Meyerowitz and I said, "Look, I'm coming down with my fighter because they could bring their manager," which quote I was at that key point. And I said, "I want to announce the prelims." I said, "Let me show you what I got. You need a buffer in the octagon. I will help you build this brand." So I got there and he let me announce the prelims. And that's my first time I ever announced.
And who did they have doing the main card? Or was there?
There was an announcer named Rich G. Mangoins.
Yeah.
Did a good announcer, solid, great guy, the whole bit. We got along great. And it's not like I wanted to take his job or anything, but I come from the school that if you want something, you got to ask for it. You got
He
to go
probably
for it.
shook a little
Oh,
bit when he
yeah.
heard you. He was probably in his locker room and he's like, "Who the fuck's that on the prelims right
Well, back
Right?
then, how I sounded back then and how I sound now is a little bit different because, it's fine tuning your muscle, your tool, whatever. And I thought back then announcers had to be stiff and still and all that, and that obviously was not my routine. I had this lion in me waiting to come out.
Wait, so that's interesting. How has the routine changed from UFC 8 to more modern days in terms of like vocal prep? Like, do you do like a vocal warm up and like?
I take care of my voice. I don't damage or do anything to hurt my throat or whatever. And you'll never hear me rehearse. You'll never walk by my room. You might walk by my room and hear me doing a cameo on the road or something like that. But you won't walk by my room and hear me going, Chuck Liddell, in the shower or something like that. No, I don't practice because what I want to do is I want to walk into the arena. I want to feel the energy and there's a rehearsed voice and then there's an organic real voice. And I want to just give it my all, feed off the energy of the crowd, bring it all in there and just let it fly.
When you did that prelim UFC 8, did you get the job right after for the main card and you were the guy, or did it take a couple more events?
Not at all. I did the job, and I was calling New York. I'd stop in New York on my business trips. I go to their offices, whatever. No, they didn't hire me. I did that, and then Rich Goins did the next show, and then I kept calling and asking for the job, and they called me. I was in the hospital with my mom. She had just had a serious operation, right? Now, this is literally probably about 6 or 8 months after that. And, or maybe a year. She had a serious operation and I'm with her while she's recovering and my phone rings and it's the UFC, it's the office, and the owner calls me up and he says, look, Rich Goins, I think his uncle passed away. He had to go to the funeral. And they said, we need you in Alabama in like 2 days. Can you be there? And I'm like, I'm in the hospital. My mom's the most important thing in my world, I said, I'll call you back. I hung up the phone and my mom looked at me. Remember the scene in Rocky with Talia Shire?
Yeah.
When, he can't train because she's in a coma or something like that. And suddenly she wakes up and she goes, win.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I hung up, I looked at my mom. She said to me, that's the call you've been waiting for, isn't it? I said, yeah, Mom. I said, but I can't leave you. She goes, thumb up in the air. She goes, go. You got to go. All of a sudden, I've got the Rocky montage going off in my head, dun dun da da dun da da dun da dun, right? Anything, and I get on the plane, I go down, I do the whole UFC 10 show, which I think was the premiere of Randy Couture, and lo and behold, asked for the job, and they didn't hire me. They had a new producer who had a friend of his, and they hired him, another guy.
Damn.
Right? So I'm thinking, wow, when's this going to happen? So I kept trying and trying. Long story cut short. I got a phone call again from them that Warner Brothers, said, look, we're doing a big TV show. It's called Friends. It was the second season. I think episode 23. It's called The Ultimate Fighting Champion. And they have a voiceover in the script for the announcer to be a voiceover, but they would like to have the real guy. So would you like to co-star in Friends? Sure. Of course I would. Well, Warner Brothers wants to send a runner down. They're going to pick up film and audio. And then we'll take it from there. Sent the runner down. I got a call 5 o'clock that night. Be on the set tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. You're going to rehearse and we'll film on Wednesday. You'll rehearse all day Tuesday. We'll film it on Wednesday in front of a live audience. So I thought, wow, here I am. I'm co-starring on what was the biggest comedy show at that time or becoming one. And I called up the owner again, Robert Meyerowitz. I said, are you on set? He said, yeah. I said, well, listen, I want to talk to you. During the lunch break, let's talk. So I went up to him and I basically said, Robert, I've been asking for this job for a year and a half. You know what I bring to the table. I'm going to be much more than the announcer. I'm going to do everything I can to build the brand. Not that it's because of me, but I will do everything I can to help you with my contacts and so on and so forth. And I said, but I feel like a girl waiting to be asked to the prom and nobody's asking me. So I'm going to ask you one more time. And this is it. I'm going to ask one more time. Let me be the octagon announcer. Let me grow with the sport. I think it's going to be the biggest thing ever. And the answer was yes.
I just don't get the other guy must have been pretty fucking good, right?
The other guy was good. The guy they brought in was, I never put down an announcer. They're all in there doing their thing, right?
Yeah.
The other guy had an excellent voice, a little nervous in the service, mispronounced a couple names, whatever. But I'm not going to call to say that kind of stuff. It's either you want me or you don't.
What did you mean by growing with the sport? Like, was that part of your business deal at the time?
I knew that the sport was going to grow. It wasn't called mixed martial arts back in the beginning. That's a term that Jeff Blatnick and John McCarthy will tell you that came about later, years in. At first, let's face it, guys, it was like blood sport. It was like what style is the best style, right?
Mhm.
And I had a sparring session with Hoist Gracie in 91 when I was kickboxing a lot. I went to his dojo and he took me into a private room. He said, I understand you're a kickboxer. He goes, come at me, take my head off. And we had this little private thing together.
Wow.
And I said, you want to put on gloves? And he goes, no, let's just do this, right? And that's Hoist. I said, fine, let's go. So we went at it, and I'm not embarrassed to say, but 45 seconds into it, he gets under my punches. He takes me down on the ground, gets me in a side choke, starts going tap, tap. So I tapped, and I'll never forget it. He gets up in the guard, straightens out his gi and says, see, isn't it nice not to get hit in the face? Right?
Yeah.
Now, I knew jiu-jitsu because I trained in different styles, but the Gracie jiu-jitsu was so unique. So then in 93, when he came out with his arms in the back of his family member, whoever, or brothers, whatever it was, I told everybody I was watching it with, I said, see that little skinny kid? Because everybody was like behemoths and this, that, and that. He's going to beat everybody. And we all know what happened from that point forward.
Mhm.
So in answer to your question, I've owned my own businesses since I was 19. I'm, entrepreneur, done a lot of different things. Everything takes growth. Everything takes a process. So I knew there was going to be an evolutionary process where they needed to refine it, put in the rules better, and it would grow as it did. And then we basically were almost taken off air, right? After the witch hunt, or, human cockfighting came out, and In Demand dropped us. The internet kept us alive. The fans kept us alive. Thanks to DirecTV, with their 16, 17 million subscribers at the time, kept us alive. And then the godsend was, and I'll never forget when I was at a show in Louisiana and Lorenzo Fertitta was sitting behind me, and, Dana, who had been a manager of, I think,
Chuck Liddell.
Tito
Liddell,
Ortiz,
too.
Chuck Liddell,
Yeah.
and Dana and I, of course, had known each other before then. I got the call from Meyerowitz after the show, and he said, listen, I've got some good news and some bad news. I go, what's the bad news? He goes, well, I sold the UFC. Oh, who'd you sell it to? Dana White and the Fertitta brothers. Okay, Fertitta brothers are powerful. Dana's passionate and, obviously knows everything to do. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Dana and his amazing maverick style and everything he's done over the years with his team. I said, what's the good news? He goes, well, they're going to let everybody go except for you and John McCarthy. Okay. So then I went to a boxing match in Vegas, and I was invited with John to go out to dinner with Dana and, the Fertittas, and we all met. And
what year is this?
This like 99. If I'm not, I
Wow.
could be off here, guys, but 99.
That's
I think was
crazy.
when they took it over. I'm pretty sure. I love wine and all, and the Fertittas have such style. They put Opus One on the table, and I go, I really like this. This is going to be good. And their passion that they exuded and everything they wanted to do with it, I could tell this was the saving grace. This was going to put us over the top.
Yeah.
Then they went through their process, and as you may or may not know, they bought the UFC, I think, for $2 million. They eventually sold it for $4.2 billion or whatever that thing
God
was.
damn.
They went into it, and then Dana told the story. He got a call from Lorenzo. Look, we're like, whatever, 40 million, 50 million in the hole. It's time to sell it, whatever. And then they decided not to, and they rolled the dice on the Ultimate Fighter TV series.
Mm-hmm.
And that was on Spike TV. And then the end of that first season was the Forrest Griffin Stephan Bonner fight, which was phenomenal.
One of the greatest of all time.
And
Right?
I think the share, if you understand, Nielsen rating share went up to like a 12 to 15 during that fight. Everybody was tuning into that fight. And like I always say, and I think I'm correct, I mean, Spike TV made us and we made Spike TV, and it was like the beginning of it all. And then again, thanks to Dana and the powers that be and the marketing team and everything, here we are today.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And thanks to the incredible fighters, men and women both, and the fans. The UFC fans are just incredible.
Insane, right?
Insane.
So you saw it. That's crazy. You saw the vision all the way back then.
I knew in the very beginning, and anybody can doubt this or whatever, but I knew this was going to be one of the biggest things in sports. Maybe not the biggest, although in some respect it's pretty darn big, but I knew this was going to be one of the biggest things in sports.
So you said you were leveraging like your own relationships and in media and stuff to help the UFC. What were you doing back then besides announcing to help kind of make it what it is today?
And there were little things I did, like, helping get on like the Jay Leno show or, Jimmy Kimmel, and, use my media contacts to whatever I could. They had people doing it, but like, I even called ESPN one time talking about the Ultimate Fighting. You know what they said? They were afraid of the name. That was the word I got back from one of the people, that I was dealing with back then, just saying, not that I was trying to make money and make a deal for them. That's up to them to make the deal. I just was introducing and say, guys, this thing is huge. And I'll never forget the call I had with ESPN. Well, the name's a little, and then what happened? ESPN bought the TV rights eventually.
So did you have like a business role in the company officially, or was that you were just doing that to help it grow?
I am the Octagon announcer.
Yeah.
I don't take credit for anything. It's just that if I'm out there, whether it's on a show like yours, or I'm able to do an interview and promote the UFC and talk.
I look at you're like a puzzle piece. You have your part, Dana, Joe Rogan, like 3 people you think about. I think of it like if I ever watched playoff baseball, World Series, and Joe Buck wasn't the announcer,
right?
I'd be like, what the fuck? If I ever watched UFC and you weren't in the Octagon, I'd be like, this doesn't feel right.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
But that's how big of a piece I think all 3 of you have become, where it's like you're instilled in the UFC. When you think of UFC, if you guys aren't there, it won't feel the same.
It's incredible working with Joe. It's incredible working with Dana. But like I always say, the show is not about me. I don't take credit for anything. I just go in and do my job. Whatever comes out of that, whatever accolades or criticism or whatever, that's just life, but whatever happens, I'll roll with it. And it's building a brand. I never had its time. I never said it's time in the beginning. I didn't even get into that until years later. And it wasn't until like 2003 that I was in Brazil when I started saying it's time during the main event a few years before that. And I walked out of the Octagon during the main event, and Stitch Duran, one of the best stitch men, if not the best stitch man in the business, came up to me and he said, Buff, did you hear that? I go, hear what? Because I'm only focused on the fighters. I honestly don't hear the crowd. I'm looking in the eye of the tiger, right? Female, I'm looking at them. My job is to enhance that moment for them as much as possible and enhance it for the fans. And I said, no, I hear what? He goes, the entire arena just said it's time with you. Now, these are Portuguese speaking people. I said, really? And I watched it on TV and I go, oh,
dude,
that's when I knew something was happening.
The fans get fired the fuck up when they hear that.
Yeah.
you got a favorite guy that his name to say or nickname, or you thought came out the best?
I can just tell you that the longer the nickname, the more syllables in the name, then the beefier it is, the more fun it is for me to get behind it. Habib Nurmagomedov, all that. Give me those names. The single syllable names are probably the hardest ones because you want to make them sound great. Mike Swick, Frank Trigg, Mike Swick, Frank Trigg. You got to really just draw those out. But when you got a lot of syllables, you got a lot of beef and a really heavy nickname.
George Rush St. Pierre was good.
Oh, it was
he was my favorite because I'm from Canada.
I blew my ACL announcing George St. Pierre.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that story.
Legendary.
What happened with that?
Sorry. I mean to laugh, but that's how married to the game you are.
Passion.
Yeah.
So how did that happen?
You guys know, or maybe you don't, that I love playing poker.
Okay? Oh, me too.
And I final table the World Series. I've been up there. I love this. I got called one of the top 10 best celebrity poker players in the world about 12 years ago by Card Player. So that's my one little braggadocio.
That's sick.
But I just love playing poker. I'm very competitive, and instead of going after somebody now, it's like, let me take all your chips and knock you off the table. That kind of thing.
Hold'em's your favorite game?
Hold'em, yeah, Hold'em.
No PLO?
I'll play PLO, and but I was playing cash games when I was 15.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so I've been playing poker a lot. So anyway, I was at a poker tournament the week before the Toronto show, which was George St. Pierre and Jake Shields, and that was the biggest UFC ever. 55,000 people at the Rogers Arena, sold out in like, I don't know, an hour or something, some crazy thing. So this is like the biggest show happening. Now I go to this poker tournament the Saturday before, and I play day one, and I get up during the break, and I walk, and I hit a dip in the carpet, roll my ankle, twisted my ankle. My ankle was filled up with blood the next morning. It was only like 20 people left in the tournament. So I had to get back. I ran to the hospital, got all the blood taken out, went to the tournament in crutches, came in third, won a nice little chunk of change. But now I'm thinking, I can't even walk. And this is the biggest show ever, right? So I finally got off the crutches on Thursday before the Friday I left for Toronto. I got in the Octagon. Just energy takes over, adrenaline takes over, and I do all my stuff. I never know what I'm going to do till I do it. I don't like standing still. I'd like to be passionate in my approach. And announce fighters the way I would want to be announced if I was about to go bang. And so I go in, I do it, I jump, I turn, I do all the whatever I do. And then I go to George's corner and I go, George, rush. And notoriously with George, who's like the greatest guy. He lunges out when I go rush, and I would always bunny hop back like a foot and a half, as to stay in front of him as he came out. Well, when I did the hop back, the bad ankle wobbled and my whole ACL severed. I didn't fall. I heard the snap and my leg wasn't working too well. And then I walked over to the referee to put the mic underneath his arm, when he's getting him doing this thing. And my knee is just going like this. And I've got my face on. But inside I'm going, holy, what?
Usually
I just
right?
blew my knee.
Yeah.
And you felt it at the time with the adrenaline even?
Oh, I felt the snap the whole bit, yeah. And then
did you finish the event on a 20?
Yeah, sure, of course.
I gotta go back and watch that and see your face when it happens.
No, I don't think you'll see it. You'll see it when I hop out on one leg. And then I get out and John McCarthy Big John comes up to me and goes, I think you just blew your ACL. I go, really? And then Stitch Duran puts an ice bag on my knee, rolls up my pant leg, ice bag on my knee. Two great warriors are going at it. And the announcers in the sidelines, with a blown knee. There's something wrong with that picture. So anyway, I went and got an MRI and they said, you've severed your ACL. You need to do RICE, get it operated, get it checked. Joe Rogan's like, get it replaced, get it this, that, and the other. But you know what? I had shows consistently for 3 months. And I was filming a movie called Here Comes the Boom like a week and a half later. And I go, I'm not going to miss all this. So there's a company called Osser that makes knee braces, and I got with them, and they made me this incredible knee brace. I had emblazoned the UFC logo on it, the whole bit. And I just braced up for 3 months, and then I went in. Dr. Elatrosh did my knee, who did Tom Brady's knee.
Yeah.
And one of the top guys, and I knew him from before, and he said, Buff, Bruce, I know you. And listen to what I say. I said, I have a 4-week break. I want to be back in the octagon. Bruce, it takes like 2 to 3 months, but if you follow what I say, I know you, and I'll get you back in 4 weeks. 4 weeks later, I was back in the octagon and healed up. Then lo and behold, 6 years later, I went to do a lip sync contest, again for the UFC. And I did Billy Idol's Rebel Yell, which is one of my favorite songs. And I watched this video. I thought they wanted me to host it. And they go, no, we want you to you and a few others go out and entertain the people and lip sync. Okay, fine. Whatever you want, I'll do it. So at the beginning, he jumps and I go out. And if you Google Buffer blows knee at lip sync contest, you'll see what happened. So I come out, I do a little jump, come down. This was the knee I heard with George. This knee, I heard the same thwack, the same whatever, right? And it's a 3-minute rendition of Rebel Yell. And 45 seconds in, my knee went out twice during that period. Finally, I fell. And I didn't fall in the octagon. And you see me on my back doing this. Then I get up and do the air guitar, finish the whole bit, get out, and go into next morning to get an MRI. And they go, well, you severed your ACL. You need to rest, this, that, and the other. I go, I got to be in the octagon in 3 hours. Okay? Get me a brace. Right? Now, here's the kicker, guys. This was the one time the UFC it was a fight night. It was, like Ultimate Fighter show, fight nights. They had 3 shows in a row, 3 days in a row, 3 shows. I blow my ACL the night before the first one. So I would go do the show, go back, ice it, sleep, brace up, go back to show, go back, ice it, sleep. And I did all 3 shows.
Everybody else involved know you were suffering through this, or did you hide it from them?
On that one, yeah, they knew. And
Dude,
that one,
your passion is incredible. You sound like a fighter. Like, Doc, I got to get back in the octagon and fucking tonight.
In my heart, I call it warrior spirit. You've got it. Whether you're a fighter, whether it's life, whether you're whatever, you got to have warrior spirit. And let's face it, the men and women of the UFC, the fighters, they're in there putting their blood, sweat, and tears and lives on the line. I'm announcing. I don't care what's going on. I can do it. Dana once said he'd have to shoot me to keep me out of there.
Yeah,
I've done this with a blown out back, blown out knee, 103-degree temperature, coming off line. You're not supposed to know that,
right?
I have to get my job done.
Have you missed an event?
I missed an event once. I was like the Cal Ripken. I was just going for the perfect record. And during the heavy time of COVID, I got COVID and I couldn't go do a show in Abu Dhabi. Because believe me, sick-wise, I still would have got in there and done it, but you can't go give COVID to everybody.
Yeah.
I feel like even the fighters would be phased. A guy who's fought 26 times and then you're not in there with him, like a Khabib. You know what I mean? Like, I think it'd just be so different. One
of the greatest comments, there's a few things. When a young kid, boy or girl, comes up to you and asks for a picture or an autograph, it's like one of the most pleasurable moments to know that you can fulfill that kid's thing. And because if you don't do that, you're going to make a bad impression. When I was 5, I was in a hotel in Philadelphia, a Marriott hotel with my brother Brian, who was 7, and a tall black man walked in the lobby, and I recognized him from TV, and I said, Dad, look. And he goes, son, go say hi. So I went over to say hi. He spent like 5 or 10 minutes with us talking. His name was Cassius Clay.
Oh shit!
right?
It's fucking sick.
That had an impression on me, who became, for those who don't know, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
And
That's
that had
crazy.
a huge impression on me. And I remember that to this day. And I remember when I met John Wayne, I remember the impression that had on me at like 10 years old during a premiere of True Grit. So I don't care. When I'm walking through the audience, I see that little hand sticking out, no matter what, I will make sure to give him the time of day.
You ever have anybody, you always hear the stories of the athlete that said no photo and it like breaks the kid heart.
I would never do that. That's horrible.
I think I had that happen to me when I was younger from an athlete.
Yeah.
I swear
I
it was
won't do
Kobe. R.I.P., but I swear Kobe. But he was too busy.
But when that happens, or a fighter comes up, and as has happened many times, you really got me going. I mean, that's the ultimate compliment.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I want to let you guys know about some new stuff going on Daily Wire Plus. It is a lot more than just politics. They are investing in some high-end shows and some real films. One series they just released is the Pendragon Cycle, The Rise of the Merlin, and it's already pulling some crazy buzz. This is a story that Hollywood never wanted to touch, even though the fans wanted it, so Daily Wire Plus made it themselves. It's about power, sacrifice, and the belief systems that shaped Western civilization. This is the kind of story that empires were built on. The series takes place before King Arthur and follows Merlin, a man navigating a brutal world where power decides everything. He had the ability to rule it, end it, or walk away from it entirely. If you're into epic history, war, loyalty, and top-tier production, this one absolutely hits. I'm going to be checking that out. The Pendragon Cycle, Rise of the Merlin. Episodes 1 and 2 are streaming now on Daily Wire Plus, and new episodes are out every Thursday. Go check it out.
Who's the most intimidating fighter you stood next to in the cage?
I think the first time that I introduced Mirko Krokop, because he has such a reputation. He's actually a super nice guy, but I don't really get intimidated. I still get in there, but I knew certain fighters I can get like this, or they'll come up to me. And other fighters like, well, I think I need to warm up to this guy a little bit before I start, whatever. But Mirko Krokop was a little intimidating. But with the fighters, they're some of the coolest people you ever met.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've probably met 4 a-holes in 30 years, and I'm not going to say any names.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys know, you're there all the time.
Everyone we've ever met's been so cool to us.
Yeah, they really are. They're great.
You mentioned Cameo, and I know with your voice and your commentary, there has to have been some just crazy, absurd request for you to commentate over.
Well, my website, brucebuffer.com,
Yeah.
I get multiple requests weekly. I do probably 5 to 10 weddings a week, whether it's a video or an audio. And on the video, a reason I don't do those on Cameo, because Cameo I do casual. But the weddings I want to really make it special for them. It's their special day. So I'll be in tuxedo in front of a green screen. We can put anything behind the green screen, walking down the aisle of love forever, presenting. I mean, there's a lot more buildup than that.
Yeah.
The cameos are, championship introductions, introducing him like a champion, presenting the champion of the world, and really make it big for them to remember forever.
That goes crazy at the wedding.
Yeah.
I know. I need to get that for something for me, just to build confidence before I walk in a room, maybe.
Fine, you got it. Just
I got to
figure it
figure
out.
out the right situation, though.
I'll
Did you do the cockfight back in the day or no?
the cockfight?
Can you imagine if you did a cockfight, though?
No, he's
No, I won't do cockfighting because I don't like cockfighting. I wouldn't do it.
He's saying they
that'd be
compared
crazy.
it to cockfighting.
Oh, I thought you said something else.
I've turned down different things. I've had.
What's the craziest request?
There's got to be something like giving birth, coming out of the womb.
Oh, no, you did it on Cameos and stuff. I do birth of babies. I do birthdays. I do championship
How do
introductions.
you do the birth of the baby? You watch the baby come out and you say,
Well,
"Coming out
no.
of
If
the
it's
womb"?
like that, I think one time I did do it this way. On this very special day, February 18th, a very special baby boy was born. And then I'll go into the whole thing, the family, the whole bit, and presenting the future champion of the world, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
In the hospital room, coming out now, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I got one of those. But one of the strange requests was a pastor who wanted me to introduce Jesus against the devil. For his whole congregation, which was like 4,000 people in an event.
Did you do it?
It was cool the way it went. Yeah, it worked out. But I mean, I turn down stuff all the time. Look, I'm not going to do anything that's disrespectful. I'm not going to do anything that's not classy. And one time, a guy got one by me on a Cameo. He said, I think it was Kaylee, it's time to move on, right? But the way he described it,
Wait, for a breakup?
that's what it was.
Dude, you have
But
to
he
do that
didn't-
for me.
I can't. I won't do them anymore because it's going to hurt the girl.
Oh,
He
but
You're in
tricked
love.
me.
You're in love. You're
but
not
that's a
breaking up
funny
with your
way to
girl.
do it. There's got to be some light in that.
if she's into it and you're into it, fine. If it's her and she doesn't know
Yeah.
about it, it's just not, I just can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, when I did this, because he made it sound like she was getting a new car or a new job, right? So I did it, and then it came out like that, and then it went viral. It got picked up by, the Post in London and the Times and TMZ and all this. And hate to say it, it kind of boosted the business, but it's like, that's not what I want to be known for. So, and he even wrote me again 3 years later. He wanted another breakup for another girl. And I said, dude, you got one. That's it. You're done.
How many have you done? Do you know Cameos?
1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot.
Yeah.
How many think you do like a week?
It depends. I mean, a busy week, I did 7 before I came here earlier today. So, yeah, they told me I'm in like the top 5%, which is very cool.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. We talked downstairs a little bit about how not only you like to announce the fights, but you're a scrapper yourself. And I've heard this video, or Dana's talked about this.
Oh, I know where you're going. Okay.
He talked about a video, and it pops up for me randomly, where he got in an elevator with you and somebody else. And in the elevator, you and the other guy, and I don't know if we can say his name, but Dana says his name.
Frank Trigg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
He's
guys...
a fighter, right?
Frank Trigg was a top 10 welterweight.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys got in the elevator, and you and him started fucking throwing punches and got in a full-on fight in the elevator, which is a true story. I imagine if Dana told it.
God bless Dana. It was, I, if I get in a scrap, I don't talk about it. I might tell my friends or my family, but here's what happened. We were doing, I think I had to stay in town for 2 UFCs, and it was a fight night. And we went back to the room, and Mike Goldberg, the commentator, fantastic commentator that was doing UFC back then. Frank and I, we're all friends, right? So we were in Mike's room, we had a drink, and then we were going to go out. So it was like the 10th floor of the Hard Rock Hotel. And we go to the elevator. Elevator opens up. There's Dana White and his security guy and Tom. And we walk in, and I'm the last one walking in. The doors are still open. And Frank had been released, or, his contract getting renewed from the UFC recently before that. So immediately he's asking to go back in the octagon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like Frank said, asking for a job.
Yeah.
So as he's talking, immediately it was on this with Dana. And then as I'm walking in, I'm a watch freak, and Dana had on this really cool watch band, right? So picture this. I'm walking in the elevator. Dana and Tom are here. Frank is over here, and Mike. And so I walk in, and now I go over to Dana, right? Nice watch. And as I lean over, I said, Dana, that's a cool wristband. I get a ridge hand to the back of my throat, right to the front of my throat from behind, which is basically known as a cheap shot. And it was firm. And I turn around. I mean, I was coughing. I mean, he caught me. And I go, Frank, you hit me. Why the F did you hit me? And then he said, what are you going to do about it? Right. And I don't know what clicked in me, but then just, pop, pop. And the doors closed, and we went at it, for 10 floors. What is that, like 30, 40 seconds or whatever the case might be? And then the doors.
Dana doing in there at the time?
Well, Dana was peeled against the wall. I wasn't really looking at them. It's kind of like, I'm looking at what's going on in front of me. And, punches get thrown harder, that kind of thing. And then the doors started open. And in the Hard Rock Hotel, if you remember back then, there's all these glass encasements. So I knew that we would probably roll out of the elevator and, God forbid, go through the glass in one of the encasements or whatever. And I threw my hands up in the air and go, we're done. Right. And then started to laugh, and I had blood up and down my shirt, and I had got right here, my thumb was peeled back to the bone. I guess I hit a ring or a belt buckle. Shite happens when you're in a little scuffle. And that was it, and I just laughed it off and went back and I went to the triage. I went to the triage, and they said, no, you got to go get stitches. So I had to go to the emergency room. I went to the emergency room, and I could hear my voice announcing fights, in the next room. They were watching a repeat of the show I just did earlier. And the doctor came in, he goes, what are you doing here? And so $500 tetanus shot and 6 or 7 stitches later. And then I went out, had a nice time, and felt like I was 18 years all over again.
You don't know why he did it still?
Well, if you watch the animated show that Dana did when Frank was interviewed, he said, hey, I interrupted him. Basically, he was asking for a job. But Frank and I are friends. I mean, we saw each other later on, and, friendly scrap. I didn't tell anybody. A fighter named...
That's the only reason I said that, by the way. It's because Dana put it out there.
Yeah, Dana put it out. Mikey Burnett, a fighter who was in the UFC, came up to me the next day, and next day it was, or day after, and he said, "Hey, Buff, I heard you took it to Trigg." And I go, "Mikey, I haven't told anybody. Where'd you hear that?" He goes, "Dana's told everybody." So, thanks, Dana. And then Dana called me up and he said they were doing this special animated show they made about it. And he goes, "Oh, you're going to love this. One of the best things we ever did." And I said, "Oh, great. Okay. Thanks, Dana."
Yeah, that's what it is. There's an animation, right?
Yeah, it was like an animated thing about it. And they interviewed Frank, and
Dana's reaction was probably like, that was badass, right?
all I can say is that, Dana's a very tough guy himself. Let's not kid ourselves. And I guess he knows he doesn't have a wimp announcing his fighters in the octagon. That's all I can tell you.
When did you fall in love with just the fighting game?
As you know, I met my legendary brother, Michael Buffer.
Yeah.
When I was 20 years old. We didn't grow up together. We're long lost half brothers. But my dad introduced me to boxing. My dad was a Marine, World War II in Korea. Was in the Corps for like 13 years. Was a drill instructor at Camp Pendleton, and went on to. I learned all my entrepreneurial spirit from my dad. He went on to run Fortune 500 companies and all that kind of stuff. So my dad was. My brother Brian were watching boxing. I mean, Saturday night was. My mom was great meal, a New York steak, baked potato, vegetables, and boxing. I was watching boxing like fresh out of the room.
Who was fighting at that point?
Oh, these are all in the great days, and then you can go back on to the 80s and 90s. Mike Tyson coming out in '86, and then Michael coming on the scene in the late '80s, and realizing when they put his name on the screen, I go, "Who is this guy?" With the last name Buffer. Long story cut short, I would call up the office of Don King and Bob Arum and everybody and asking about him. And finally, I was driving up north with my dad, and I said, "Dad, people are stopping me, asking me if this guy's my brother, Michael Buffer, the boxing announcer." He had this whole debonair, great-looking, still great-looking guy, the James Bond demeanor, the whole bit, changed the whole role of announcing. And they said, "Is that your brother?" And I go, "No, my brother's Brian. Brian's my brother I've, grown up with." And I would say no. And they said, "Dad, do you know anything about this?" And I got this. "I think that's your brother." Like, what are you talking about? I'm 28. What are you talking about? "Son, I never told you before I met your mom, or before I married your mom. At 20 years old, I was married briefly, went overseas to do my part during World War II. I came back and a son was born. It was Michael."
Do you know why? If you guys have this, you share the same gift, why he never told you?
No, just one of those things, where I think the last time you saw him was 2.5, a divorce ensued, and I can't question that beyond a certain point. It's just one of those things.
I guess what I'm saying too is when you're watching Mike Tyson fight, like, did you fall more in love with fighting, or when did you decide I want to be the announcer in the ring?
One little additive to that, when I met Michael, we all got together. My dad and him. My dad called him when he was doing an event in California, and they got together for lunch. Turned out to be his son. They got along great, and then we all got together and we all got along great. And then it was basically about 4 years later. I saw Michael growing with the "Let's Get Ready to Rumble," and he never even made a hat or a T-shirt, right? And I just realized that this needed to be trademarked properly, so it couldn't be totally his. When you trademark something, it's not just in one area; it's in multiple areas. And I was making great money, beach house, the whole bit in the telemarketing industry, but I was burned out on what I was doing, and I just had this epiphany. When Riddick Bowe fought Evander Holyfield in 1992 for the first time they fought, I was at the event and I saw everybody go crazy that night, when Michael would go into his rumble, whether it was Hulk Hogan, Jack Nicholson, whatever, just going nuts. And I went back to my hotel room instead of going out in Vegas and doing what we all like to do in Vegas and, party, blackjack, whatever the case might be. And I incessantly wrote 3 pages of notes, trademark the phrase, put them in football fields, basketball, toys, video games, all this kind of stuff I thought I could create and make happen. And I met with Michael and I said, I want to roll the dice. I mean, I'm doing great, but I'm burned out. I mean, I love the money I make and everything, but I want to sell both my companies. I want to quit with the money I have in the bank. I want to be your manager and your business partner and make this 5 words, part of American culture, and build the brand with you and put you in every area of sports and entertainment possible.
Was he doing it at Caesars? Like back in the day when they used to fight?
Oh, yeah,
Caesars?
the Caesars Palace fights, all that.
Yeah.
Michael's the man. I mean, Michael did all the big fights.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
I guess White House is probably going to be the closest thing to like an outdoor, not closest thing, but you don't get the outdoor
The White House is
thing
going to be
anymore.
one of the biggest sporting events of all time.
The way it's going to be publicized, the people behind it, Dana and his amazing machine, President Trump and all that he wants to put behind it.
Potentially on CBS too.
Listen, I'm a media mercenary. I point, they point, I shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do what I'm told.
Right.
I know I'll be there. I can't tell you who's going to fight. I can't tell you anything about it. But I only know really what you know, and that's about it. I mean, I have heard that the security is going to be outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like people can just walk on the White House lawn.
No.
And then next door, they're going to have the big area where they're going to be whatever. Knowing Dana will probably have great bands playing the whole bit leading up to the show, and everybody will enjoy it on the Videotrons. It's going to be a spectacle, and it will be probably one of the highest viewed sporting events in
For
history.
sure.
Do you think Conor will fight on that card?
I would venture to guess, and again, it's not me. I'm not
As a fan of the sport.
As a fan of the
As a
sport,
fan of
yeah.
the sport, I would venture to guess the way Conor's acting now. He hasn't fought in 4 years or whatever. I would venture to guess he'd be on the card.
I would agree.
I mean, there's
I think so,
definitely
too.
going to be.
He's the most tested this year too,
Mhm.
I think.
I think that came out at one point, yeah. But I think you're basically going to have 3 or 4 championship fights.
Yeah.
You think John Jones
I do not know.
too?
It'd be great to have John come on. I mean, I just saw the thing he talked recently that he's dealing with arthritis in his hips. But
Mhm.
I mean, if you had John Jones and Pereira fighting each other,
Yeah, it'd be fucking.
That would be
that would just
insane.
be absolutely huge.
I think both those guys, they probably want to fight out their deals, and it seems like this is that extra bit of incentive, the White House card. I think it's now or never for both of
Oh,
them.
I don't think there's a fighter in UFC that doesn't want to be on the White House card.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's an announcer that they work with that doesn't want to be the one in the octagon.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody wants to be.
But I feel like we might have maybe not seen McGregor again if it wasn't for this White House
Oh,
card.
very possibly, but again, who knows?
Because this is once in a
Yeah.
lifetime.
I agree with that. I think you're right on that.
Conor likes to grab the limelight, and he'll certainly bring a lot of eyeballs to the table. Beyond the eyeballs are going to be tuning in. So,
Who would you like to see him fight?
It'd be great to see him fight like Justin Gaethje or something like that. But Justin's a champion. I don't think it's fair to give Conor a shot at a championship. I mean, I've always wanted to see him fight Mike Chandler.
Yeah.
I thought that'd be a great fight.
Mm-hmm. I guess they said that's not happening now.
Why?
Or Dana's like, no, that was in the past.
What option do you think?
I guess there was Nate Diaz talks too, right?
I love Nate. Of course, it'd be great, but they've already fought twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So it'd be a trilogy.
it's a trilogy. The trilogy fight could be there, and it'd be great for both fighters. I'm a huge fan of Nate. Nate's a great guy.
That's probably your most anticipated event to announce. But outside of that, did you have a favorite event of all time? You've done 300 of them, right?
I've done more than that.
Of UFC
All the
fights.
fight nights.
Oh,
there's-
yeah.
Remember,
yeah.
you're
We're
talking
only
about
thinking
number
pay-per-views.
I'm just thinking of pay-per-views.
There's
Yeah.
325 number
Mhm.
pay-per-views, right? About to
Yeah.
be 326. Think of all the fight nights I've done.
Mm.
And I think on Grok, I think it said I've announced like over 3,500 fights.
Really?
I was just told by people this morning that there's 211 trading cards of me out there. I'm not even aware of all those trading cards.
Wow.
So
What about McGregor and Khabib when all the chaos happened?
Yeah.
Like at moments like that, they don't stick out to you, or it's not more memorable because of.
I've been involved in so many melees over the years and different events. I used to do events in cowboy bars where there were better fights in the audience than were going on in the ring I was in. So it's like I'm always one to walk into the fight, but yeah, that was a melee. That was a melee for sure.
Can you explain? Do you remember that?
I feel like you were ready to go if you had to.
Listen, I don't want to sound like the toughest guy in the world, but I mean, whenever you deal with something, you have
could
to
be a
deal with it.
scrapper. Yeah.
I mean, I remember there was an after party one time. I forget the number of the UFC. I was talking to Tank Abbott, and Waleed Ismail, all of a sudden, he walks over and just throws a overhand right into Tank's face, and all hell breaks loose. Everybody's just brawling and going at it. So I get my back, because whenever you're in a group fight like that, you want to get your back against the wall. You don't want to be in the middle. You want to make sure you're only looking at 3 areas. You don't want to have people coming up behind you.
Mm.
And I remember one time, one of the fighters turned around. He was, getting ready to throw. He goes, "Oh, sorry, Bruce," and then he goes back into the melee, right? All these little things. Then the fight ended, and Mark Coleman burst through the front door. The double doors, ready to just take on everybody, but the fight's already calming down. There's been a lot of situations.
Who were some of your favorite fighters from the Spike TV era?
Rashad Evans. I mean, I always enjoyed Stephen Bonner. Forrest Griffin always brawled like crazy. And let's get down to basics. I mean, you take great fighters like Anderson Silva, Chuck Liddell and George. They weren't the ultimate fighters, but they were all fighting during that period.
Mm-hmm.
Every period, there's just a whole array of fighters.
Yeah.
You have fighters that come into the UFC, as you could say probably about boxing too, that rarely have what they call the it factor. Those kind of fighters come along every few years, right? So like Patty Pimblett has the it factor, right? Conor McGregor has the it factor. Ronda Rousey has the it factor. You know, she basically helped make female mixed martial arts. George St. Pierre had the it factor. You know, that's why when I see fighters and they do their interviews, and the way I always say, listen, the mark of a fighter is not just how you fight in the octagon, it's how you handle yourself outside of the octagon, in interviews and everything else. You got sponsors that want to come at you and throw a bunch of money at you. So don't be dropping F-bombs all over the place and putting fingers in the air. You know, you're gonna push away certain potential sponsors you could have, and you know, keep it classy. I mean, if I was a fighter, I could build a fight without a single curse word. And if I curse, when I do say that, you're gonna know I mean it. Right?
Yeah. Well,
Instead
I
of
agree with
throwing it
that.
out 25 times during a speech.
Yeah, I think McGregor did a good job of that. Even though he did curse, like he knew what to say and he knew what worked.
Conor knows how to build a fight.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everybody should do it like Conor, because they're going to probably look a little ridiculous trying to be like Conor.
Yeah.
And we've seen people try that, but personality is part of sport. The more personality you have, and you'll be recognized individually, but be a role model in the sport.
That's what I'm saying. I wonder if there'll be more limitations, and they're going to make us try and be a little bit classier with the event being at the White House, or do you not think that'll change at all?
Well, you know, Dana's openly said, I mean, he's not against, he doesn't want to do anything against free speech, you know?
Yeah.
He has his way of governing, and if they talk to him beforehand about anything, I'm not privy to that, so I don't know.
I think a lot of fighters are going to be conscious themselves of their brands and not
should
be too
be.
crazy. They're going to be a little more respectful in a way at the White House.
Can't have a Conor Khabib situation at the White House.
You shouldn't.
No,
Right? I'm a brand builder. I mean, I built, you know, obviously with Let's Get Ready to Rumble and the It's Time brand, a couple other things I could go into with you, my products and
Here,
stuff
we'll
like
show
that.
a couple of them if you want.
But, you know, there's a way to build a brand,
Mhm.
and that's your base. You want to build a base, and then you grow from the base.
Okay, so
Cologne?
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah.
It's time. It's
that's-
time.
Can you give us one? Can you, or is that asking too
Yeah,
much?
no, it's fine.
Open that up.
I'll save it for something. I'll do it during the show, whatever you want to do, but I'll do it once and I'll do it real special for you. So you tell me when you want me to do it.
Okay.
I'll do it.
All right, this is Bruce Buffer. It's time cologne, and then there's a bourbon in there too, right?
Yeah. It's Puncher's Chance. I have about 6 different variations of that out. I've won over 20
Nice.
gold and platinum awards for the juice and everything else. It's one of the finest, highest rated bourbons in America
This
today.
is nice.
That you can go to puncherchancebourbon.com, have it delivered to your house.
I really like this.
It's-
How
isn't
do
it
you
good?
get into
It's
all these
fire.
different cologne and alcohol?
Damn, having your own cologne's sick. How'd you come up with the scent?
I like a scent. When I wear a scent, I don't want it
This is
to
nice.
be. Yeah, I don't want it to be overpowering, where you walk in and go, "Oh my God, guys, what's that guy wearing?" So I want it to be sensual, charismatic. I love the vanilla tinge to it, you know, and all the other things that go into it. So we had a number of different. My partner Kristen and I, the company we work with, they presented us with a number of different scents based on what I wanted, and then it came down to this one. And I have
Cologne is
another
so
version
key.
called Iconic.
It is. It's major key.
You
and
know
I
when a
need
girl tells you smell good, you're
it.
like,
Yeah, it's huge.
you're
I think you
pretty
need-
much.
You can
you
smell
are.
like
you
Buff
need to
and drink
drop-
like Buff.
You should drop a limited bottle that has a speaker and it drops the It's Time just to get you fired up when you put it on to go
We've
out.
talked about it. I have a
Oh,
limited
yeah?
bottle coming out, but it doesn't have the speaker in it. But yeah,
Something like that, because this is sick.
this was the top seller on Amazon when it first came out. It was one of the top sellers. You can still buy it
It
on
smells
Amazon.
really good. I'm not just saying.
What other ventures do you have?
Well, the other venture I have a number of different ventures. I have a company called millions.co, millions.co, where you can go to, and it has athletes from NCAA all the way through to every single sport there is, where you can buy their merchandise. We make the merchandise for them and ship it all over the world. So as a fighter, let's say, you don't have to pay and stock your merchandise and ship it, which is a lot of costs involved. And we give them the lion's share of the profits. So they're just not making a 10% license fee. And again, being about branding and building your brand, millions.co is all about, you can market to your fan base, your social media fan base, and give them the clothes and videos like are done on Cameo. And you can even have watch parties, you know, for UFC, all this stuff. So I created that with my partners out of Canada to give the fighters a way, you know, and teach them more so about how to build their brand and build their brand.
All right, guys, if you guys have thought of starting an e-commerce business, you guys got to check out Shopify. I've been using Shopify at Nelk since the very beginning of fullsend.com, all the way back when we were shipping merch orders out of my dad's garage in Canada, all the way till when we had 300,000 people on our website for the merch drops. And even today, we still use it on fullsend.com and Happy Dad. What I love about Shopify is they have literally everything from A to Z. They have a ton of custom templates that can help you design your site, and they also handle all the boring stuff like shipping, inventory, returns, everything. Now they have a bunch of AI tools too that we didn't have back in the day that help you with marketing, email campaigns. It's like having an entire marketing team behind you. I've used it my entire business career. I love everything about Shopify. They power 10% of all the e-commerce globally. So if you guys have an e-commerce idea, you guys can take advantage of this deal. Go to shopify.com/fullsend and you can do a $1 per month trial. Take it from me, Shopify is the best in the game. Take advantage of that deal and take your business to the next level today.
I wanted to ask you this earlier, but just talking about like your business, how often do you over your 30-year tenure, like renegotiated your contract?
Contracts usually, you mean with UFC?
Yeah, just because like, it's probably pretty different from like sports, but you see how much these fucking guys make.
Well, it's
CBS
just
and
all
Fox.
private. It's not made public.
Right.
So
Just curious how often you've done it because you've been there for that long.
a number of different times I've renewed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually 2-3 year period.
Has there ever been another thread of this? This guy in the audience this young man has a nice strong voice, good chords in there.
You know what? If you're an announcer out there and you're watching this, bring it. That's all I can tell you. Bring it. You get the job, good power to you, but just bring it.
You're not replaceable.
I'm not going anywhere.
You're not replaceable.
Yeah.
I mean, unless I'm told I'm going somewhere, I'm not going anywhere. I love what I do, but come on, you young bucks, go for it.
That's amazing. I didn't know that you were just like, even back then, you were just using your own connections to help build the sport. That's pretty cool.
Well, again, just to clarify, when I say I'm going to give all the credit to Dana
Of
and the power,
course.
but I'm saying if I had a chance to publicize or to get them on a TV show through media contact before, because they have all the contacts now. Come on, they're with WME. They don't need anybody else. They got everything they can put together. But back then, when not everybody was listening or watching, I wanted to make sure, whether it was writing an article for a magazine or doing an interview or somewhere, to publicize.
Yeah.
Remember ABC used to have that thing after Monday Night Football, and they did have the guy doing the show afterwards, and I used to go on there and, bring fighters on there once in a while. Anything I possibly could do. I'm a team player.
How much longer do you think you'll just do this for?
I get asked that question a lot, and I recently said that I, will want to be at UFC 400.
Be sick.
So I'm 68.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've still got the energy. I'm still training, keep my six pack in order. Whatever the case might be, just do my thing. I'm passionate about the business and about what I do. The moment the enjoyment and the passion wanes, and it's just go and do a job, for a seat or a paycheck. I'll always cash a paycheck on a Monday at the bank. Trust me.
Yeah.
But it's not about the paycheck. It's you get to a point where you hopefully, life by design, people out there, if you have that, you wake up and you love what you do. But if I ever lose the passion for it, then, or physically or mentally, I can't do it the way I want to do it, then it's time for me to say, hey, I'm done.
I got to think of the best scenario to have you do some sort of introduction for me. Because there's going to be a day when people need to lock in, and that'll be the time to use it.
I'll be happy to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
That's what
agree
I do.
now?
Maybe a girl.
Maybe at Love Island.
Yeah.
He comes out just to announce me walking
That'll
out.
be good.
Like those love shows, like dating shows.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
no one gets like a cool introduction, and then you come out to introduce me. But you know what's funny that actually is great, and because I've gone out with Sugar Sean after his fights, is you'll come to Zook.
I've been down Sugar at Zook.
Yeah, I know, I've seen it.
Yeah.
And it's fucking incredible.
Oh, thank you.
So does he just personally ask you like, hey, can you do this? Or how do you guys work that out?
No, Sugar didn't. I surprised him the first time, but I mean, I know the Zook people and contacts there, and I've done a lot in different clubs. I get hired to come out on New Year's Eve or whatever. Steve Aoki and I would appear together because we have a song together called "It's Time." We did a whole music video and song together. Listen, I've done more clubbing in my lifetime than most people have, and it's like I'm not really into doing the clubs.
You
that
used
much
to drink
anymore.
too?
I mean, I drink responsibly.
Okay,
I've never
yeah,
been
you
like
still-
a
you still
guzzler
drink,
or
yeah.
drink to get drunk.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed a good bourbon, but
Mhm.
I love a fine wine, definitely, for sure.
Screaming
But I
Eagle.
don't drink a lot of hard liquor,
Mhm.
and if I do, I enjoy my bourbon.
You ever had Screaming Eagle?
Screaming Eagle. That's what is that again?
I don't know. It's like $5,000 a bottle. I saw it on this menu.
I'm not going to spend $5,000 for a drink. If somebody wants to pour me a $5,000 Screaming Eagle,
I like
I'll taste it.
Quintessa.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely tried
Yeah.
brands that are like that.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Where's your favorite place to travel for fights? And what do you do when you travel? Do you like go and see the town and stuff, or do you kind of just lay low?
With all the fights and the number of fights we do now, I'm kind of really quick in and quick out a lot.
Mhm.
If it's domestic, I'm in on a Friday, out on a Sunday morning.
Mm.
I just went to Australia and I left on Wednesday, landed on Friday, did the show on Sunday, and came back Monday morning. And Sydney's one of my favorite towns.
Yeah, it's
Sydney's
amazing.
nice.
Went out and did a seaplane expedition there. It was pretty cool. It used to be when it wasn't so many so tight together, take a couple days, enjoy the territory. If I was in Australia, I remember when I first went there, I'd go surfing. I used to do a show called Rumble on the Rock in Hawaii, which was one of the BJ Penn's family did. I love that because I could surf in the morning, put on the tuxedo at 4, go to the Blaisdell, announce the show, and then have some fun. But yeah, it varies. I mean, great cities, Montreal, great city. London, great city. I used to love when we did shows in Germany. I wish we would still do that. Waiting for when we go to Italy. Sydney, Australia, one of the greatest cities in the world. Everybody should get a chance to go to Tokyo, Japan once in their life,
Mhm.
to see what's going on there. Canada's a great place to visit. Then you've got America, you've got Madison Square Garden, the Big Apple, one of the greatest cities in the world. Of course, Vegas is Vegas. We all know about Vegas.
Mhm.
Every city has its own flavor.
I think the events in Miami have been great too.
The events in Miami have been excellent.
Yep.
Texas.
It's always good everywhere.
I just appreciate wherever.
Yeah.
What's your routine before a fight?
Oh, what do I do? Fight day?
Before you call a fight, like whether it be the
The build up,
20
what I do
minutes,
to get ready.
build up, yeah.
I mean, I used to go out on Friday nights and I would just, have fun, do whatever, all that. It's not like I still can't, but
It's like in Australia back in the day, like when UFC's getting big, like pop out, see some Australian girls.
we've all had our fun.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah, of course.
I would say a good night's sleep because it's in like an 8-hour day, right? And I got to be on top of it. So I love getting a good 8 or 9 hours sleep minimum, before the show. Get up, power breakfast, workout, stretch, do a little meditation, and get my head in the gear, and then just relax, and then get to the arena and say hi to everybody, get all mixed up. And like I said, then I walk out. As soon as I feel that energy, then it's okay. I came out of the phone booth. I got the outfit on. Let's get it done.
Yeah. I don't take you as a guy that makes mistakes, but have you ever been in there and misread a name and been upset with yourself?
Oh, sure. I've made mistakes.
But you just battle through it?
Its trick is to just work through it.
Yeah.
I can count them pretty much, but I mean, I made I think one of the worst mistakes I ever made, I was in Brazil and I was looking at a referee named Mario Yamasaki, and I turned around and your referee in charge of the octagon is Herb Dean. And as I'm saying it, I could feel my lips going, Herb Dean. It just came out.
And it was Yamasaki?
Yeah, and it was Mario Yamasaki.
And they look nothing alike.
We all got a big laugh out
Have
of
you
it.
ever messed up a record?
I would say I probably have,
I don't know if it was the Derek Lewis one, but I think they reversed his.
I think there was a Derek Lewis one where I got his win ratio wrong.
It was funny just how you reacted, but yeah.
Yeah. No, but things happen, but you got to roll over them, right? We're only human.
Yeah.
Mhm,
of course.
100%.
You grew up a surfer in Malibu. We talked downstairs. You were spending time in Venice. Surfers, skaters, or brawlers, bro?
They're very
Why-
territorial.
Why is that a thing? Like, why can every surfer skate? Every kid at the skate park has hands, it seems like. And you're one of the guys.
To be a skater?
No, have you ever
Oh.
seen skate park fights? Like, you ever watch those on
Yeah.
YouTube?
Yeah.
Every skater, it's like they can throw hands. And just from a guy with experience.
When I went to school, I went to high school with Tony Alva from Dogtown and, a bunch of other guys and stuff like that. And the weekends would come, and we go to these house parties and I could never understand why parents would let their kids have a house party with like 200 people showing up in their house. And, it'd be like fights would break out, people, things would happen. I mean, we used to have football games, Malibu versus Santa Monica, and I mean, people would get broken arms in these games. We would go at it so hard,
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I do know surfers are very territorial, right? But then some surfers are even more territorial than others to the point of being a little too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
There's no reason to beat somebody up. There's no reason to do any of that,
Yeah.
unless something really bad happens. But they never seem to hesitate. I mean, there's been I've seen a lot of brawls in surfing. Try ground and pounding or getting ground and pounded on the sand
Yeah.
versus, whatever. Maybe a little safer than hitting your head on the curb in the street. But listen, I I encourage everybody not to get involved in street fights because I've seen some pretty bad stuff.
Yeah.
And you can die from a street fight. You can fall down, hit your head on a curb or whatever. Something crazy can happen.
Right.
One of my friends had a boxing ring and in Malibu, and on Point Doom, and the Sean Penn and the Lowe's and the Sheen boys, they all grew up on Point Doom up there.
Yeah.
And if we had a disagreement or something like that, and we were local, we would meet in the boxing ring.
You had one in the backyard or
Yeah,
close by?
My friend did.
Damn, bro. Headgear or no
Put
headgear?
on the gloves and no, screw the headgear. Put on the gloves and go at
And
it.
just settle it?
Yeah.
Fuck. They don't make
Let it
them
out.
like that anymore.
It's not the same anymore. You don't know. I mean, usually you could be able. I always used to say, and I think I said it in that thing that Dana made about the Trigg and my situation. I come from the days when you kind of go at it. Afterwards, you have a beer, you know, or you never talk again, or you become friends, or whatever the case might be. But there's so many different scenarios that can happen.
Yeah.
But if you're surfing or skating, I have to talk more from a surfer standpoint, and you're in somebody else's break, you've got to have there's a code of ethics, there's a courtesy factor. You don't take off on people, you don't whatever, and you follow that factor, and there won't be any hassle.
Is surfing, I feel like, is that something that you've done like a therapeutic type thing?
It's one of the most therapeutic things you can do when you're out there, and in the North Shore of Hawaii at Sunset Beach or whatever. I remember a big day out there. It was like 10-foot Hawaiian, which is like ridiculous, 15, 20-foot face waves. And then, when the wave would break, and it would break and form a rainbow.
Yeah.
And, and you're out there looking around and seeing some of the greatest surfers in the world, and you're in paradise. And it's just, if that doesn't give you a spiritual, therapeutic feeling, I don't know what would.
That's one of the nicest spots in the world, North Shore, Hawaii.
Yeah.
I was just there in December too.
It's dangerous.
Insane.
With what?
Pipeline when you're taking off, and
Well, the surfing there.
and
Oh,
you've got,
surfing.
I didn't get into
You know,
that.
fucking, what about the sharks up in there? Have you ever had an encounter? You fought off a shark. I know you have.
no, I don't lie. I'm never going to lie. I know I have. Have I seen sharks in the water? Yeah. But have I fought off a shark?
You're ready to
No.
go. You're not spooked.
I don't care who you are. Shark's going to scare the hell out of you. Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
That fin. I remember I was in Mexico one time on a trip, and
Fuck that, bro. That's why I don't surf.
No.
well, you can't think about it. You got to first off.
How though? I don't get that.
Well,
Like when
let me-
you see a fin in the water,
here's the
Right?
trick.
That's a terrifying feeling.
Here's the trick. Here's the trick.
Okay.
Okay. A dolphin has a dorsal and has a tail like this.
Hmm.
A shark is like this. If you see a double break, you're talking about a shark. And the distance between that and the dorsal and the tail, you double that, and that's the size of the shark. If you're looking at a 6 feet distance, you have a 12-foot shark around you, right? Okay. Or 3 feet, you got a 6-foot shark. I don't care how a 4-foot shark's going to ruin your sex life forever, bite you in the wrong place. Okay. So, but you can't be paranoid about that, right? You got to you go out. Now, there's certain areas in like Brazil and Recife, and the bull sharks are some of the most vicious, aggressive sharks there are. And it says there, don't go in the water, bull sharks. But people will go in waist deep and they get bit within like a couple minutes. I mean, you got to know the breaks. You got to know where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
But sharks are everywhere. There's great white sharks off the coast of Santa Monica.
Yeah. You've never seen a great white in the water, though, have you?
Have not seen a great white. I do want to do one thing, and that is I want to go cage diving with a great white. That's one thing on my bucket list to do.
What
I
the
kind of want to
hell?
do that too.
Yeah, I think that'd be so cool.
Because
That's where you're in the cage and they can
You're
come
in the
like,
where would you
cage.
do that?
You can do that up north. You can do that in Mexico, or you can do it in Australia.
There's a 100% survival rate, or is it not 100%?
Oh, you've probably seen videos where the shark's broken open the plexiglass cage, or
Oh, no.
you just want you're an adrenaline junkie.
No.
I'm not jumping out of planes, although I've had the chance to. But it's not that I'm going for the adrenaline. It's just something I think would just be really, really cool.
Yeah, for 100%.
Really cool. I find it fascinating. It's about as prehistoric as you can get.
Yeah.
I was in Mexico one time, one of my first trips, and the fins came up, and we all scattered. But then I realized that it was a dolphin. You're out there with dolphins, and if there's dolphins out there, there's not going to be any sharks around.
I want to say I think it's pretty impressive and cool. We obviously don't see everything that happens behind the scenes, but just that you, the Fertittas, Dana, and Joe all maintained such a great relationship for so long. It seems pretty rare, but it seems like you all have a individual appreciation for one another and what you each
Absolutely.
bring. And I think that's
Well,
pretty
because they're all
special.
just beauties.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you guys all. I know Dana
Like
these
Bruce,
kids
you're a
surf,
weapon. You know what
You
that means?
fight.
I'm a what?
You're a weapon.
I never
Like,
referred to as
Bruce
that.
is just that he's a weapon in every category.
Yeah, no, I
It's
know.
fucked.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate your words.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. I'm
No,
just,
Bruce is
just
an
call me
ab-
Bruce. I'm just Bruce.
Yeah.
Just doing what I love. But it's like
Fucked.
the appreciation I have for Dana, the appreciation I have for Joe. I mean, does Joe need to do the UFC? Does Dana do? They got more money than God. It's passion. It's a passionate move, and Dana's been just making these big moves with his team to just make this thing bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Joe loves what he does. There was a time when Joe worked and didn't even take it. He did it for free. According to the story I heard from Dana. And we've all been together working like this forever. It's Boy Scouts go to camp, guys. The fights happen. We're all going to see each other on a weekend, and I call Dana Chief.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it is.
What do we got here?
Oh,
It's time?
yeah.
By the way, this cologne is just amazing.
I've needed this.
Huh?
I'm not a cologne guy, so I've needed this forever.
It's like, and I hate cologne that when you spray it, it goes away too fast. Like
This will last.
This
stays on, yeah.
I'm going to try this out. I think I'm going to try this out
Should we
tonight.
do a rip on here?
Yeah, so anyway,
Hell yeah. Give me that. I love opening
Well, I want
cards.
to do this.
well, here's the reason these are here. And Gabriel, I told you about the stuff, and I think you might show it in the show, but I opened up a venture that I'm so proud about. I opened up the It's Time Sports Card and TCG Center in Agoura, California, and it's an 8,000 square foot sports card center, right? We've got everything from Pokemon to the sports to the UFC cards. My
Pokemon
partner
recent
O'Day sent this down for you guys to rip open some cards.
Dana has, I think he has a Jordan rookie in his collection that we saw.
He's got a
Something
Jordan
crazy.
10 rookie, I think.
What do you have? You have anything crazy like that?
Yeah, I've got Jordan rookies, Magic Johnson rookies. I have an open wax packs.
What's your number one most valuable?
I've got a couple. I mean, the wax pack 61 Fleer that could have the Will Chamberlain rookie in it. The Jordan rookie I have, the 8 is probably 15, 20,000. Unopened boxes of 87 Fleer and open wax packs of the Jordan rookies.
What is the most? I know the guy's name. What's the guy's name? The most valuable baseball card?
Oh, no, you're talking about Honus Wagner.
Honus Wagner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the most valuable one out there?
Yeah, but there's cards that are more valuable. The Honus Wagner card is worth millions and millions of dollars.
Right. So this whole new, with what you do with your store, the new, it's almost, people are obsessed with this because it's a sweat.
The Pokemon cards have
I like it.
outperformed the stock market for the last 6 or 7 years or more.
In appreciation?
Appreciation.
That's
And these
fucking
things
crazy.
sell. I mean, we sell a ton of Pokemon cards. We have all the different sports cards. And again, just to clarify for the audience, you can go to itstimecards.com, right? Or go on Instagram at itstime_Agoura Hills.
Mhm.
Just put in It's Time Cards, it'll come up. And that's my Mecca Center. It's 8,000 square feet. And it's 2 big rooms for the cards, the sports cards, the Pokemon cards. We've got another room that can hold 200 people for watch parties, UFC, Super Bowl. There's a basketball court in
Oh,
there. I've got a
shit.
big mural of me and Kobe and Tiger Woods. We put in a $65,000 simulator that you can golf in front of.
So
You
it's
can
a whole
play hockey,
facility. It's not just
It's a
cards.
whole facility. People spend
Oh,
hours
shit.
there.
Oh, it's awesome.
We're open until 10 o'clock at night.
Damn. Basketball court and a golf simulator?
When I say basketball court, it's like a little half court, with like
That's fun.
Nerf basketballs that have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Wait, my question just for people, like, I see this happening all the time on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, all that. I always think, like, to get the big cards, you got to go and buy them from the store and you got to buy the Jordan rookie. But, like, do you have the chance of pulling the big boys, like,
Well, I'm
out of
hunting
packs
a
like
Charizard
this?
right now.
Yeah, you have a chance of pulling. I mean, my experience, Jordan's rookie card is an 1986 Fleer basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
My experience with that is the first time I ever bought a wax pack.
Yeah.
I opened it up at a shop in Westwood, here in Westwood in LA, and a Jordan rookie was in it.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I pulled a Jordan rookie
still
out
have
of
it,
my very
obviously, yeah.
first pack. And I wish I would have bought the cases back then. I could have had a case of those 86 Fleer for $450 at the time,
Wait,
which
do you still
eventually
have the
became
Jordan?
went up to about $500,000 in value.
The Jordan?
The cases of
Oh,
a
okay,
case
okay.
of like whatever's in there, 12 or
Holy
16 boxes
shit.
of the cards.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But do you still have the Jordan that you pulled?
Yeah. No, that one I sold like an idiot for $1,100,
How
probably
long
5
ago?
years later.
Oh, fuck.
And it's now worth, God knows what. But I do, I have Jordan rookies.
This whole new phase, it's
Little Gyarados?
it's pretty fucking sick. What's like the best market? Is it Pokemon, baseball?
Pokemon's just going crazy right now. But sports cards are going crazy. UFC cards are going up in value. I bought 2 cases of the second issue UFC cards from Topps back in
Oh, shit.
1999.
Mhm.
I paid $750 a case. And there's 12 boxes in the
Queens
case.
for
The
lucky.
box is worth $2,000 now. That makes the cases worth $24,000 each.
Do you know who's the most valuable UFC card?
There's different ones.
Sean
I
Brady.
want to open one of these. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sugar?
Islam Makhachev.
Oh,
Ooh,
I can open that. We
my
can open
favorite
this?
fighter.
Rip it out. These are yours, guys. These are a gift from It's Time
Thank you. It's time.
Sports Cards.
Thank
It's
you
Time
so
Sports
much.
Cards Center to you.
This
And
is
my
amazing.
partner O'Day is amazing because he just sent you down what you'd probably have to pay $2,000 to $3,000 for.
Yeah.
for all these
Wow.
I wanna
things.
get-
Shout out
give me
It's Time Sports
Thank
Trading
you.
Cards. Ooh, Mewtwo?
That one looks like it could be expensive. I'm not even kidding you.
There's no way.
Is
Yeah,
there-
but
how
you
do
know what?
tell?
I'm not a total aficionado of Pokemon, but if you think you found a good one, put it aside.
I am. Well, I know Mewtwo's.
Mewtwo's one of the top
I mean,
dogs.
he's the best Pokemon, the
Yeah.
first one.
You can get an app. There's apps that you can download where you can hold it on the card and
That's
tell you the value.
ChatGPT.
I got a DC in here.
We have streamers, that work with us.
Mhm.
Of course, people go in the shop, but
I live here, so I'm gonna come down check it out.
please do.
Yeah.
We ship all over the world, through my website. It's Time Cards.
Is that Daniel Cormier?
Yeah.
Someone?
I got Anderson Silva right here.
Oh, I got
Dude,
Islam
this is also
Makhachev.
so fun. Oh, I
Peter
got a Conor
Yan.
McGregor right there, bro. What the fuck's
Which
going on?
one?
What's going on?
Let me see that.
You don't swoop that from me.
You got a McGregor?
I got a McGregor up in here.
There you go.
That's sick.
Johnny
Don't squeeze
Walker.
it.
No.
Oh yeah, it's the old Charizards that are.
The old Charizards are like 6-figure cards, I'm pretty sure.
Like Logan Paul is selling that one of one Pokemon card
For
now.
5 million, right?
I
Or he
think the
bought it for
bidding was
5
over 6 million. It might be higher now.
All right, well, Bruce, this was amazing.
Yeah, thank you
Thanks
so
so
much.
much.
Sorry,
coming
I said
on.
This was amazing.
Yeah, take
You
your
are
time.
very, you're a very smart guy, interesting. I didn't know all this about how much
Thank
you
you.
helped the UFC. So it's great to have you on. You're an absolute legend. Like I said, he's a weapon. So
Thank you. Appreciate it.
you.
I'll take it. Okay.
thank you, bro.
You got it.
All right, Bruce Buffer.
Thank you, Bruce.
That was awesome.
Big cheers, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Thank you for having me on the show. Really
That was
appreciate it.
great.